Hey guys, so when you're working with WordPress, sometimes you run into an issue where you need to know information about your server, where the website lives. And this can have all different types of effects on functionality and how things work and how secure things are. One of the most common things that you might need to find out is the PHP version that you're running. PHP is basically the programming language that WordPress is written in, and it is one of the most widely used programming languages on the internet today and has been for a long time. Finding out what version you are running can sometimes help debug issues. And I'm going to just show you the simple way to find out what version you're using. And while I'm at it, I'm going to show you a few other tips and things that will probably be helpful. As you know, if down at the very bottom, you can always see what version of WordPress you're running. So if you're ever reading something online or trying to debug an issue and the issue might be related to the PHP version and the WordPress version or some other problem, you can always just go to your WordPress dashboard right here, click on that, and just scroll down and look at that. Now, a lot of times you're going to want a lot more information than that, so you're going to go to Tools and you're going to go to Site Health. And in here, you're going to find quite a bit of information, probably much more than you'll ever need to know yourself, but it is very good to know where to find this if you ever need to provide this information to a developer, a programmer, or someone that is managing support for your website. However, there's a very good chance if someone's working on your website, they're already going to be able to find these things. But if you're doing your own research, this is really going to help. At the top here, you're going to see it says Site Health Good, and then I'm going to click on Info. And as you go on here, you're going to see a whole bunch of different options. Don't be overwhelmed by this. This is a lot of information. You can actually click here. Again, if you're in a support trying to get help or support or provide information for someone that might be looking at assisting you with your website, you can copy the site info to the clipboard and send that to them. And this can give them a quick, detailed technical oversight of how your website, what's the server platform, everything that's running, all the intricacies of the technical details. So for PHP, we want to go down to the server tab and just click on that. And if you scroll in here, you're going to start to see a bunch of probably looks like technical gibberish to you, but it's all very relevant and important information. Right here is where we see our PHP version. As you can see, we're running PHP 8.1.24, and all of these other settings that you see here can be very important to your website functionality and how you interact with it. For example, have you ever tried to upload an image to your website and you're getting an error message? The error message could be many variations, but usually it's on the lines of memory limit exceeded or upload max exceeded. This will tell you what your maximums are. And most often and commonly, depending on where your website is hosted, you can contact their support and have them adjust these for you. Now, there are very technical ways to modify this yourself through very specific files and settings on the server. Sometimes you're limited on this as well because the hosting provider, such as GoDaddy or someone else, might actually block settings that you're allowed to apply to these. For example, if you wanted to increase the upload, you might make a change in a file, but then it won't ever work because there's a limitation that overrides that on the server host because they want to control how much information you're putting up and how big those files are. You can run into all types of different issues of this, but this is more just to give you an oversight of what you can see immediately what your server's about. Other things in here are the current time, which can be important to, for example, if you're on the West Coast, East Coast, or somewhere else in the world, you want to make sure your blog posts have the date and time stamp of the actual time you upload them, or the time zone that you want your website to be operating in. You can adjust this. Down here now is your server time, so you might have a web host that's in Arizona or Texas, but you're located in Pennsylvania or Maine, so this current time can be very important to make sure that's set correctly in your WordPress settings. That's about all I'm going to cover in this tutorial because this is about the PHP version. And as you can see, it's right here. Other information you can find, you can click around and study some of this data, but I'll be covering more tutorials on what all of these mean and how to make the best use out of them, and even digging into the details of how to making changes to these on standard website hosting platforms. All right, guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year.